Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyperroll with Artark. This is a build we've kind of done before, but I just wanted to show this game because it was a lot of fun to play. So you're not going to necessarily see a lot of new things, but it is a slightly different form of a build that I highly recommend if you want to climb. Let's jump right to some of the good stuff. I get a Twitch and a Lilia out of the NPC round. Then we go through our augments. There's nothing really exciting in this first group, and I don't mind rolling gold augments because there's a good chance I'm going to get one that I really like. I'm much more hesitant with the gray tier because you only get one roll per game. I could go with combat training or celestial blessing. When I get healing as an option, I usually take it. Now in this case, I'm just putting together the best first round team that I can. So I'm going to go ahead, get my 2 guilds in, and then leave in Nidalee just because she's a 2-star unit. And I was able to get my Sejuani up to 2 stars, but not my Twitch, and I happened to run into someone who has all 3 2-star units, so they are much more likely to win early. Sometimes it's just a matter of loading up those 2 stars to win the early rounds. First item, since I'm headed in the guild swift shot direction, go ahead, grab the BF sword. I can make the infinity edge on Twitch almost immediately, and since I'm so close to the 2-star, either Lilia or Rel, just go ahead, ditch the Nidalee, and commit into what I'm doing. And you almost forget sometimes how strong that cavalier buff is early. That additional armor and magic resist will keep you up longer, and when they charge in, they just draw aggro and you can get through teams pretty easily. And even though I did pick up an Ezreal and could have gone to the 2 swift shots, having 3 2-star cavaliers this early, well, that's just too tempting, and you can see why. They just will not go down at this point in the match. For items here, I decide to go with the bow, and then when I see after I pick the bow that I have the chance to go to a 2-star Twitch, I decide to inflict maximum torture. And I love the static shiv in this build, especially with the cavaliers holding everything back. Unless you end up facing assassins, which you just don't see that much of, your swift shots will probably just stand in the back line and be able to attack, making the static shiv very effective. It's time for our next augment, and I can never resist the Radiant Relics. You got that 1 in 5 shot of getting the absolutely perfect item. And when I'm running static shiv on a Twitch, the Runaan's Tempest should be the easy choice. Don't let my cursor movements fool you. I actually do want the Runaan's Tempest. I might have thought about other things, but that's the way to go with this. And this Lagoon team may have an incredibly tanky Malphite up front and picked up an early Soam, so they're in pretty good shape, but yet they're not going to be a match for this front line and that Twitch at this point. We added Zippy to our team and then get the opportunity for a loaded die. Now, notice I already have 2 Twitches down on the bottom, and in this round we have a 40% chance of getting 2 costs. So I decide to go ahead and use this loaded die in the hopes of getting a gold Twitch. But instead the game says, hey, you want a bunch of Zippies? And so I'm going to go ahead and take them, and I'm going to see if I can create Zippy the Death Machine. So most people build Zippy as a tank, but with his ult, the amount of damage he does scales off of his attack damage. It's a percentage. So at this point, it's 425% of his attack damage. So that Death Blade is going to help him do massive amounts of damage. And you can keep your eye on him to see how much damage he's doing. There, he just completely took out a champ, then another, and is staying alive through all of this. And when he hits, boom, they're dead. And for our final set of augments, there's nothing super fantastic, but the Axiom Arc will probably be the best choice because it'll allow us to cast more often. And once again, keep your eye on the flipping dragon. Seagraves just disappear, then turns around, sets his sights on Twitch, and he's gone. It's gonna take a couple of whacks to get rid of Volibear, but he finishes off the team. And it is Treasure Dragon time, and I am kind of thinking I want more damage for our drunken little dragon. That is the stuff I'm hoping for, and right there are two perfect items. The Infinity Edge is going to increase Zippy's damage a whole bunch. Then the Edge of Night will also increase his damage, but better yet, will allow him to go off target when he gets low, enabling him to do more damage to somebody else after the fact. Now I'm going to show this in regular speed because I don't know if this is a bug or it's working as intended, but you really need to see in real time what happens here. Zippy goes in and knocks the shield off of Rakan. Then Dragonmancer Nunu comes in, eats him, but spits him back out, and I think that's because of the Edge of Night, because Zippy's supposed to get a second life. He then gets spit back out a second time, but doesn't get another attack. I'm sorry, I just have to see this in slow-mo one more time. Nunu gobbles him. Too much alcohol spits him out. Zippy finishes off xayah and is free to go. And just because I love to show moments like this, here it is, a gold 3-star Zippy. Item choice is pretty easy here. We're going to go ahead and grab the last Whisperer and then put that onto Xayah, who's also going to get the Rage Blade that came off the NPC. And we can just watch and delight as Zippy just one-shots almost everything he sets his ult on. Pop, they go. A 2-star Soam almost one-shotted, took a couple of extras, but Zippy finishes it off, leading the damage charts. And this fight again against the same team, but it has a different question I don't know the answer to, as Soraka dodges Zippy's ult. I did not know you could dodge Zippy's ult, but she does it. Not that it keeps her alive much longer or helps this team out, but that was an interesting thing to see. And we are offered our final item, and the Runan's Hurricane is an easy choice. It's going to be something we're going to want to put on Xayah, since she has the last Whisperer. That will reduce more armor around the entire board. Also going to take the Hextake Gunblade that we got off the last NPC and put that onto Jayce. I find that to be a good item on him, since he does his ult a lot throughout the entire fight. And we end up faced with one of the greatest horrors I have ever seen, a 2-star dragon-blessed Dragonmancer Shyvana, who wipes out almost our entire team, but don't worry, Zippy's here to save the day. And normally this is where I say that we're into the top 4, but we're actually in the top 2, because it went straight from 5 to 2. And for a change, it is not Guild Swiftshot against Guild Swiftshot. We actually have a full Astral team with an Aurelian Soul with a Mage Cap. So that can be really deadly if it wasn't for the fact that Zippy just one-shots pretty much anything he focuses on, unless it gets a miracle save. But yeah, Zippy is really, really strong. And they did not manage to 2-star that Aurelian Soul, which would have probably given them a chance, although the 3-star Zippy with those items is going to be very difficult to overcome. As you can see, it is just so disruptive in their backline, leading the damage charts and leading us to victory. Hope you enjoyed this another take on the Guild Swiftshot build, and as always, hope you have an absolutely awesome day.